Today we are at Caffeine Machine to answer a very important question. Is the Abarth 500 really the successor to the Fiat Panda 100 HP, and is it worth the extra money? I'm Daniel Achterhuis and you're watching Daniel Drives. So this morning it really is Fiat parking only. I've come equipped, I've got a prop. I'm going to leave that here for amazing YouTube effect. I love Caffeine Machine, absolutely love coming here. It's my third time. First time was filmed for Daniel Drives as well. Came along with about 14 other Panda 100 HPs. You can check out the video, it was a great fun day. Second time came with my good friend Jacob for the Italian Grand Prix. Watched it in the tent just there, and Italian cars everywhere. People really liked this, and the weather was perfect. Today though, I'm here to answer a very important question. As I said in the intro, is the Abarth 500, or specifically the 595 like this one is, better than the Fiat Panda 100 HP? Now this is owned by a very nice guy called Alec, who I know from Discord. We're in a couple of Discord servers. He's behind the camera, and he will make an appearance later on, as much as he is dreading it probably. But first thing to say really is, these are both the exact same colour. We didn't realise that before we came here today. They are both grigio quazzo. Pardon my awful Italian accent there. I'm sure it's something much more extravagant. But they are so similar. I'm going to have to put some B-roll in. They've both got side stripes. They're both grey. And, you know, they only have 10 years between them. So you go inside the cars and there's actually quite a few little buttons and the wiper stalks, for example, which are the exact same part. So this obviously being a 1.4 litre engine, naturally aspirated, 16 valve. This is a 1.4 litre as well, but this has a turbo, giving it around 40 horsepower extra. Does that 40 horsepower extra make it 40% more fun? Is it 50? 145. 145, Alec is saying behind the camera. 145. Is it 45% more fun? Is what we're going to answer today. We're going to crawl around the car. We are going to go for a drive, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We might even get a chance to look around some of the amazing cars here today at Caffeine Machine. There's loads of Ferraris here, there's all sorts. So I think we should talk a bit about the design. The design of this car really staggers me. Obviously this is a design for the original Fiat 500 that came out, I think it was around 2006, 2007 time. Hasn't changed an awful lot. It's had facelifts, obviously the lights have changed and subtle things like that, but the overall design profile still looks modern and fresh today. And I think huge credit really to the designer. I believe the designer of the Fiat 500, the Rebirth, also designed the R50 Mini, which also even today looks modern for a 20-year-old car. So it's a very cool car. Obviously with the Abarth, you've got different wheels, mirror caps, you know, stuff like that, rear lip spoiler, just like the Panda has, but maybe a little bit more. And I think it's such a bubbly, cool looking little car. You look at it and it has road presence, being the Abarth, certainly a bit less cutesy than the Fiat 500 and a little bit more aggressive. Obviously the Panda's completely different really if you want to talk about design. It's boxy, it's very boxy. The side profile is a lot less rounded. It still looks very cool, especially with the side stripe I've got and the grey wheels and stuff like that. You can really customise them to make them look different. But I don't know if I really have a favourite design. In terms of practicality, the Panda design is obviously better, but I think if it's just you in the car and another passenger, you'd be absolutely fine with the Abarth. I will climb inside later, and I might even climb in the back, which, if you're a long-time viewer, you could probably remember a very young Daniel Achterhuis climbing to the back of a 3-door Toyota Yaris, which was certainly very interesting. Funny camera angles. But yeah, I think the design is really nice. It's actually quite timeless. Let's climb aboard the Abarth 595. Now, I've been in the latest generation Fiat 500. I've been in a earlier Abarth 500, but I've not been in an Abarth of this generation until today. So it's very nice to be inside it and compare it to the Panda. I mean, first of all, I'd say it probably does feel a bit more airy in the front than the Panda. And I think that's probably because it's more of a balloon. I don't know, because it's so rounded, you kind of feels a bit more airy. It's certainly a lot more modern. The one thing the Panda suffers with is rhinoceros coloured plastics in the interior. It's all very grey, but the headlining in this car is black, all of the trim is black, and I think that blacked out look really adds a modern touch to this car. I mean, it should, because it's a modern car, unlike the Panda. Steering wheel's lovely. These are actually interchangeable. You can put these in the Panda. A lot of people do. Me personally, I wouldn't, because I think it's kind of too modern for the car it is, although you can get nice retrimmed ones for the Panda that look great. You've got your screen in front of you, does various things. Other than that, it's very familiar to me, really. As you know, somebody who's had the Panda for a few years, gear shift feels very, very familiar, and in a good way. In a good way, the gearboxes they put in the Abarth and the Pandas do feel great, but this is a 5-speed as opposed to the Panda, which is a 6-speed. But what's interesting, this is obviously turbocharged, so there's less strain in the engine. So when you are doing 70 and you're in 5th gear, it's actually doing similar RPM to the Panda when it's doing 70 in 6th gear. So you could argue that 6th gear probably isn't needed, especially in a car with a turbo. But overall, it all feels very familiar. I mean, it's a Fiat, so you're not going to get your Rolls-Royce luxury or anything, but I think that kind of adds to the charm of these cars. It's really nice. One thing I do really like in particular, and one thing I will consider for mine, is the seats this has. These are Abarth bucket seats, and they are very supportive, very supportive. The bolster support is fantastic, and it just really holds you in place. I can imagine when you're going around corners, it really keep you in. The Panda doesn't really have that necessarily with the seats it has as standard, and you're kind of, shaking about a bit. But this is nice. I'm a tall guy, I'm 6'2", and in a lot of cars on longer trips, I sometimes get back pain, because I'm a very old man. And the Panda is actually very good, but I'd say this is better for lumbar support, however you say it. So really, I've got no complaints necessarily about this car. It's a nice interior. Let's get into the back. Okay, viewers, for your pleasure and for my discomfort, I'm going to attempt to get into the back of this Abarth. Right, I've been in the back of these cars before, and they are very, very cramped. 3-door, low roof line at the back. So I'm 6'2". Alec is around 5'6", so he's got the driver's seat in his position. To be honest, I'm going to say, for short journeys, it's okay. But it's only okay because my legs are kind of wrapped around the seat, even in Alex's driving position. My head is dangerously bent, I'd say. In an accident, it would probably snap my head off, which is not nice. NCAP would have a few things to say about that, I'm sure. But for short journeys, you'd be fine, to be honest. And especially if you've got kids, you can have this car. I'm sure it's got ISOFIX. Has it got ISOFIX? I think it has. I think it has. Looking down here, it's got ISOFIX, so you can have car seats in. So for that matter, I'm sure it'd be fine. Say if you're a car enthusiast parent, you can probably manage one of these. But as soon as your son or daughter grows up, you might want to, I don't know, upgrade to a Panda. Is it an upgrade or is it a downgrade? That's the question. We'll answer at the end of the video. So yeah, overall, it's all about being in the front of this car, I'd say, although it feels fine in the back for short journeys. Okay then, we've been inside, let's talk frontal design. So, front of the Panda, this is obviously a design which I obviously am a huge fan of. I think they really hit the nail on the head with the 169 Panda in general, but especially the 100 HP. It's got that front Audi-style front grille, as Evo magazine said back in the day. It's got the square headlights. It's very distinctive, and for a design to be good, it's got to be distinctive. We've got a Volkswagen Arteon going right behind the camera, but it's just working. It's all good. It's all good. Didn't knock the camera over. But the design's perfect. This being a 10-year newer car does look a lot more modern. It's got the round headlights, very distinctive again to the Fiat 500 and the Abarth. Now, one thing Alec told me, which I actually didn't see at first, was in the grille, it's designed to say Abarth. I will put a bit of B-roll in so you can see. But I just think it looks fantastic. Head on, you've got this real sort of angular design on the bonnet. You've got this centre bulge in the middle as well. I just think it looks very cool. And it's difficult to take an ordinary car, made for the masses, and make it look sporty and interesting, but Fiat seem to do that very well, so top marks. So then let's talk figures, and to do this, it's the return after a long time of the Daniel Drives book of notes. I've got here some stats, some figures for the Abarth, so if you're in the market for one, you can see exactly what they're like in terms of numbers. So 145 horsepower from the 1.4 turbocharged engine. The T-Jet is known as, an engine people quite commonly put in the 100 HPs actually. 0 to 60, about 6.9 seconds, so what's that? About 2.3 seconds quicker to 60 than the Panda is. Top speed about 132, which is irrelevant because you should be doing 70, obviously. Fuel economy claimed 47 mpg. Now, Alec actually says he gets 38, which is actually very similar to what I get, to be honest. I mean, I get on the motorway about 45-ish on a good day, and then around town, a little bit less, obviously, probably mid-30s. Road tax, £180 per year, which is a lot better compared to the £240 a year that I have to pay for tax. Just being a more modern car, it's going to be cheaper to run for tax and stuff because people prefer it, lower CO2 emissions. So there's a few figures for you. Overall, it's a very practical car in terms of cost to run and stuff like that. If you want something exciting and modern, really, that is a very good answer. My car's got Apple CarPlay.
Yeah, but it's not standard, is it?
Yeah, well, I've got tinted windows, so overall's that.
That's got rear tinted windows.
Yeah, I've got grey wheels.
Yeah, but not that good.
Mine's a Panda.
Mine's a 500.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the man himself, Alec, who owns the Abarth.
Yes.
Tell me a bit about the ownership experience.
Well,
how's it been?
It has been a bit of a pain in the arse.
Yeah. That's Italian cars, though, isn't it?
It is, and I kind of knew that going in.
Yeah.
Because it was sort of like I knew buying it, I wanted to buy a small, lightweight hot hatch.
Yes.
That was fun to drive.
Yeah.
A bit of a lunatic.
Yeah.
And then within the first month, the wheel bearing went.
Yeah. There's always something with these cars, I find. But adds to the charm. Who wants a car that always works?
The wheel bearings are quite common.
Yeah.
On those, especially at the rear. So it was a rear left.
Mine's had a wheel bearing.
Yeah. And then, but we had a lot of back and forth with the garage basically going. They thought it was the tyres and everything else. So we got the alignment of the tyres done, and it was even louder.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't hear anything else except the wheel bearing.
Yes. Yeah.
So then it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So they had to accept. But it was all done for free, which is great.
That's a bonus.
It was under warranty.
We've got these two Italian cars next to us. Now, out at shot just there is a load of Ferraris. Now, I honestly think, day to day, none of them would really put me out of my Panda, which is a crazy comment to make, but I love my car.
I get it though. Yeah. I think there's a real charm of a proper manual, 3-pedal little car that you can just throw around willy-nilly. Yeah. I mean, would it stop us from wanting a Ferrari?
If you're offering one, I will take it.
I'll give you a fiver.
I'll give you a tenner. I'll give you a tenner.
I'll give you a Freddo.
I'll give you 2 Freddos.
No, we're not going that. But yeah, it's drive. Obviously, it's got its quirks. The seating position is way too high.
Yes, that's the same with the Panda, really.
The ride is a bit crashy.
Same with the Panda.
And it seems to make a new noise every day.
Same with the Panda.
Yep.
They share a lot of little quirks, don't they?
There's a lot more similar about them than I think we realise.
Yeah. That's why today's been so good, to actually side by side compare, because when I had my first Abarth experience with the older one, it didn't have the Panda then, it was pre-Panda. So I was doing it all by memory. So today's been great just to have a look around. So thank you for letting me crawl around it.
You're more than welcome to do it again.
Fantastic, it really has. And I'm sure when you've got something else and I've got something else, possibly, I'm sure we'll meet again and do something else.
I don't know how long it will be, but
You're contemplating all sorts of options.
I contemplate all the time.
I do too, but I always go back to the Panda. So yeah.
See, I always come back to different conclusions every day.
Yeah. About cars or just in life in general?
Both.
Okay, so we are out in the Abarth. We've got Alec here.
Right.
He's driving. We've just been to Gasoline Juice, which is a great place. I've never been. You've dragged me along. It's a great place.
Yep.
Taylor Hetherington was there. Saw his 6 Series.
Oh, what
a car! Seriously, it's stunning. If you go check out the Auto Alex channel, you can check out the story because it's quite an amazing story. So we're in the Abarth, obviously, and I haven't been in one of these in a fair few years. And that one, as I mentioned earlier, was an early model. It was about 2011. So it's nice to be in an Abarth again. It's nice to be in a modern one. No, I suppose not.
You get the screen,
yep,
which is part of the facelift.
Yeah.
And some of the cars get this digital display.
Yes.
Which has a G-force reader.
Yes.
So when you put your foot down as so.
Yeah.
Obviously,
that's fantastic.
But my favourite thing about this car is the boost gauge.
Yes.
It's got a boost gauge.
Got it here. That's fantastic. I like that.
It's
massive, isn't it?
It's huge. And
it's absolutely massive.
The annoying thing is, I've not been able to fit a phone mount to this car.
Yeah.
because I would have no visibility at all.
Yeah,
because that's there.
I've got mine in the corner of the windscreen.
It'd be there, but then I'd have no visibility.
Yeah, I suppose. Drop a gear.
Yeah, and then
there we go. Oh, it really picks up well.
Yeah.
Wow. It's got that extra grunt that I think sometimes my Panda lacks.
So we're just going to give it a bit of
national speed limits.
We're being tailgated a bit, but
yeah, yeah.
See how that goes.
Joie de vivre. Same engine though as the Panda.
Yep. Just turbocharged.
Yeah, very similar engine.
It's 1.4 16 valve like yours.
Yep. Just turbocharged.
It amazes me how similar the cars actually are.
Yeah, that's one thing that surprised me today because I thought they would be different, 10 years between them. But they're surprisingly similar and the same colour, same stripes. So to conclude this little twin test, I actually don't know what to say because obviously I'm very biased. I love this car. We've had it for 4 years and it's done everything so well, apart from power steering early on. But that's besides the point. This car is very, very good. I used to be quite split. I wasn't sure what to think. I think it's because I went in a very early one. This being a 67 plate, 2017. It's a much later model and actually I'm very impressed. We've been out for a drive. It's great fun. And I think it's fantastic. The conclusion goes down to what you prefer. Do you want a more modern car? Do you want that modern car reliability? Because if you do, they don't make these anymore, but they do make these. So this is really the only answer. Do you want that more raw driving experience? Because you might get that with that. Do you want more creature comforts? Because you'll get it with that. I don't know. It all goes down to preference, really. So I don't know. It's a bit of a pointless video in a way because I haven't come to a specific conclusion. Me personally, I'm going to stick with that. But if you get one of these, I respect that decision because it's a fantastic car. So a big thank you really to Alec for letting me have a walk around his car and take me out. He's a great guy. I might leave his socials down in the description if he wants to. It's been an amazing day. I love Caffeine Machine. I just love it. I love it. I really need to come down here more often. Gasoline juice as well. I've been invited there. I need to make an appearance there. So yeah, there's going to be a lot more Caffeine Machine meet content because I really need to do it more because on days like today I really fall in love with that car again. So hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, do subscribe because it helps a massive amount. I'm trying to do more regular uploads even though we're going into A-level season, so it's getting quite stressful. But yeah, follow me on social media at DanielCars05 and I will see you soon, whether it's with this, another car, or I'm on my own because I've crashed, but hopefully not. Thank you for watching.